Okay. Hi Dan, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm an ex-chemist and kind of got tied into the foundry early this year. A friend approached me about starting a business and it seemed like a reasonable idea. So I was lucky enough to get laid off from that job soon after and devote my full time to Cartel, and it's been a wild ride.
Nice. And what does Cartel do?
So we're an online retailer for independent ski and snowboard companies. So basically, there are 5 brands that dominate each section of the market, and they own about 90 to 95% of those markets. And so what we're trying to do is take the other 300-400 companies that are kind of fighting for that last 5 or 10% of the market, put them all in one space, so we can kind of use the power of collectivity to kind of make an impact on the market share of the larger brands.
Awesome. And how are you guys doing?
It's been interesting so far. We launched the website about 2 or 3 weeks ago, so we're kind of in the throes of making sure that everything works properly and the customer and the vendors are all doing well and not seeing any glitches. We're just starting a marketing campaign, so I think it's in the works at this point, but hopefully we'll get some really good data over the next few weeks.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Yes.
So, I hear you're a foundry company. Can you tell me a little bit about applying to the foundry? How you got involved?
So actually my partner at the time, he applied to the foundry, which made it very easy for me. I just jumped along for the ride and kind of saw the MOCR that he created.
And what is a MOCR?
It's just basically, kind of laying out where you are, what you think your goals are going to be for the next few months, what you're trying to accomplish as a company, kind of the pieces of data that you're going to use to prove that you've accomplished those goals.
When did you get it? And by get it, I mean, like, when did the light bulb go off? When did the foundry start working for you, your idea for Cartel?
Yeah, it almost started working immediately. I mean, we go to our Monday morning meetings for our cohort, and just hearing people talk about ideas and kind of pitch things back and forth, and realizing that you're utilizing this resource of 20 different companies in order to help drive your project. But I think it really set in the first I forget what it's called. What's the
peer review?
Yeah.
Or the review meeting?
Project review. Sorry. The first project review meeting where it was a little bit more formal and I had to actually plot out exactly what we're doing and getting real-time feedback from our advisors at the foundry and realizing that the resources and intelligence of basically what I call my advisors or committee is huge, and being able to tap into that and using that to kind of drive us in the right direction and hopefully kind of smoke out the things that aren't really going to work for us before we put too much resources or effort into it.
Which teammates blew your mind? And this could be either an advisor or it can be a fellow cohort member or someone maybe you heard about before you were involved in the foundry. Just someone who impressed you, one of your peers.
Definitely Rob is impressive, Ken's impressive. Again, the ideas that they helped us, I'm definitely entrenched in the idea and what I'm doing for my company, but for them to get this cursory overview of what we're doing and be able to offer such good advice is definitely impressive. But I think, again, it's more about the collectivity of everybody who's in the foundry. So each one of the CEOs and the other people that they work with, anybody who showed up with an idea is amazing. And it's all about them offering resources to you kind of unsolicited, right? So you say, I've got this problem, and you've got 5 people in the room that are willing to help you out. And I think that was a big help. So I think just the foundry in general is impressive.
Awesome. And do you think it works because of that?
Yeah, absolutely. No question that we would not be here at the point that we're at had it not been for the foundry. And it was something that I didn't know about in December and got thrown into in January. And I think anybody that I talk to, I try to convey how impressive the foundry's been for me.
Awesome. So speaking to that, actually, so if a friend of yours is interested in the foundry, you know very well what it takes to be successful there and what kind of traits and or just things you like to work with, people you like to work with, and that work well at the Foundry. Could you explain a little bit about what makes a good applicant to the Foundry, a little bit about coachability, things that make somebody very successful in that environment?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. So coachability is one of the big ones. There's a lot of ideas that as a company we sit around and talk about and we feel like we've got the solution. And then we go to a project review meeting and present the direction that we're going, and it's obvious sometimes that that's not the direction that we should be going. And for some people I think it's hard to hear that feedback and actually change it, since you did put so much effort into it. But as long as you're willing to listen to that feedback and either work it into what you're doing or at least consider it and see what the pitfalls are in the future, I think is huge. But I think it's also about interacting with other people. So not just about getting the resources that you need for your company, but offering resources that you have to other companies in order to make sure that everybody in the Foundry is successful.
Yeah. So they get really emotional in some of those meetings, those Monday meetings or those peer reviews. I mean, is it an intense environment? What does it feel like?
Not really. I mean, I feel like since I've worked with these people through Monday meetings, in the peer review meetings, it's definitely like you're there with your friends and you're just talking about the situation. I think it's a very honest environment, so as long as you can handle honesty, you'll be okay. If you can't, then it might be a little bit hard to hear. But for me, I think it was just a good conversation. I was willing to work with it and definitely always hear feedback from people and always encourage that. So for me, it's really relaxing and actually where I want to be.